You know that feeling when your cat jumps onto the bed at night, circles twice, and settles against your leg like it's chosen you out of the entire universe? And suddenly, your thoughts slow down. The day softens. Your body exhales in a way you didn't realize it was holding. If you know that feeling, this isn't just about liking cats. It's about how your nervous system survives the world. Let me ask you something. When your cat knocks something off the table, looks directly at you, and walks away like gravity itself is beneath them, do you feel irritated, or do you feel oddly impressed? If it's the second one, there's a reason. Because being a cat person isn't a random preference. It's a pattern. And that pattern begins in the nervous system. Some people regulate through stimulation. They feel calm when there's movement, conversation, shared energy, constant feedback. Their systems downshift through interaction. For them, connection is active, loud, expressed. Other nervous systems regulate through reduction, through quiet, through predictable rhythms, through the absence of emotional demand. Cats operate in that second language. They don't rush toward you in a storm of enthusiasm. They don't require you to mirror their energy. They don't expect constant affirmation. They enter a room and simply exist. And if you're wired for subtlety, that feels like oxygen. For people whose bodies spend the day anticipating reactions, managing tone, reading micro-expressions, adjusting themselves to avoid conflict, a cat is the first presence that doesn't need to be managed. No performance, no emotional caretaking, no urgency, just coexistence. That's not distance, that's regulation. Here's something most people misunderstand about cat lovers. It's not that they avoid closeness. They avoid pressure. Human relationships often come with invisible contracts. Respond quickly. Match my excitement. Explain what you're feeling. Prove that you care. Even affection can carry weight. Why aren't you more expressive? Why don't you need me the way I need you? For sensitive or easily overstimulated nervous systems, that constant calibration is exhausting. Cats don't operate on that system. A cat never assumes access to you. When it wants affection, it approaches carefully. When it's done, it leaves without drama. There is no guilt, no negotiation, no emotional debt. This creates something rare: connection without intrusion, closeness without engulfment. And for people who have experienced boundary violations, whether emotional, social, or relational, that dynamic feels profoundly safe, because consent is built into the interaction. With cats, affection is earned through attunement. You learn to notice the tail flick, the ear rotation, the subtle shift in breathing. You adjust, you respect, and in return, the cat chooses you again. That choice matters. It feels different than obligation. Now let's talk about the purr, because this isn't poetic, it's biological. A cat's purr operates in low rhythmic frequencies, repetitive, steady, predictable. Your nervous system is exquisitely sensitive to rhythm. Before you consciously think, this is comforting, your body has already started to shift. Breathing deepens, muscle tension softens, heart rate steadies. Low-frequency repetitive sounds signal safety to the brain. They say, nothing urgent is happening. No threat, no demand, just presence. For people who live in chronic mental motion, planning, analyzing, anticipating, the purr becomes an anchor. It fills silence without overwhelming it. It occupies space without dominating it. That's why cat people don't describe the feeling as exciting, they describe it as settling, grounding, like their internal tempo finally matches the room. That is co-regulation, without conversation, without effort, without emotional labor. Your body learns quickly which presences bring it back to balance. And once it learns, attachment follows. There's another pattern researchers often point out. Cat lovers tend to score higher in openness to experience and introspective traits. It's not that cats make people more intelligent, it's that certain personalities gravitate toward certain environments. People who enjoy solitude, people who think deeply, people who need uninterrupted cognitive space. Deep thought requires quiet stretches of attention. Writing, reading, creating, reflecting. Cats don't fracture attention, they coexist beside it. They curl near your laptop instead of dragging you away from it. They observe instead of interrupt. Their presence protects the mental conditions that reflection requires. In a culture that equates constant engagement with value, Choosing quiet is almost rebellious. Modern life treats solitude as something to fix. But for many cat lovers, solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. Cats don't fill silence, they dignify it. There's also something instinctual happening beneath all of this. Cats activate what ethologists call the baby schema: large eyes relative to the face, rounded features, soft movements, small noses. These cues trigger caretaking circuits in the brain before conscious thought intervenes. But here's what makes it interesting. Cats pair vulnerability signals with independence. They look fragile, but they behave autonomous. That combination is neurologically compelling. Your brain registers protect this, but your ego registers this doesn't need me. So the bond forms without the pressure of being indispensable. And that's important, because many cat people are uncomfortable being needed in overwhelming ways, being the emotional anchor, the fixer, the constant reassurance provider. With cats, care flows outward. You feed them, you protect them, you create safety. But they don't demand your emotional performance. They don't require you to be cheerful. They don't monitor your mood. They don't ask you to explain yourself. For people who learned early to contain their emotions or stay self-sufficient, nurturing something that doesn't intrude feels manageable. It allows closeness without vulnerability overload. There's another subtle truth here. Cats don't love loudly. They love selectively. And selective affection feels earned. When a cat chooses your lap over an empty couch, when it follows you from room to room without touching you, when it slow blinks across the space, that's not dependency, that's preference. And being preferred, without having to perform for it, is powerful. It tells your nervous system, you are enough as you are. No exaggeration, no amplification, no proving, just existing. For people tired of intensifying themselves to maintain connection, that's revolutionary. So when someone says, I don't like dogs, they're too much, they're not criticizing energy. They're describing overstimulation. And when they say, I like cats, they're peaceful, they're not describing aloofness. They're describing down-regulation, a nervous system finding a compatible rhythm. Because this was never really about animals. It was about environment, about which emotional climate your body feels safest in. Some bodies need movement to calm down. Others need stillness. Some need constant reassurance. Others need space without suspicion. If you're drawn to cats, it doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you're distant. It means you're wired for nuance, for subtlety, for connection that unfolds without urgency. Cats don't test your loyalty. They don't demand emotional proof. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They sit beside you. And sometimes, that's the most intimate thing possible. There's something quietly radical about loving a creature that doesn't need you to survive in the emotional sense. It stays because it wants to, not because it has to. In a world obsessed with being essential, indispensable, constantly validated, choosing mutual independence feels almost subversive. So the next time your cat ignores you for hours, then suddenly demands your attention as if it's a royal decree, remember this. You didn't just choose a cat. Your nervous system chose an environment where it could soften, where vigilance could drop, where closeness didn't require performance. Your cat isn't just a pet, it's a compatible rhythm. And in a loud world, finding something that matches your internal quiet isn't small, it's survival. And maybe, in its own understated way, it's love.